Welcome to the Mind Sensei Podcast. I'm your host, Peter Tas, and I'll be taking you on a journey to the world of martial arts and introduce listeners to some of the most inspiring and knowledgeable practitioners from around the world. Whether you're a seasoned martial artist or a curious beginner, or just enjoy hearing a great story, the Mind Sensei Podcast Down Under has something for everyone. So tune in, sit back, and let us take you on a journey through the world in martial arts.
Here's a great story. Another reason why I love Frank. So we go to the Pasadena dojo. I know Frank is now running it because when Huk left in 75, running that Pasadena dojo full time for Ed, Frank took it over and started running it. So there's all these people from all over the world. The dojo's packed full of people practicing sparring, practicing forms, trying to get ready for the tournament. So I knock on the door, goes, "Yeah, come on in." I come walking in, and Frank's sitting behind Parker's or whoever their office there, talking on the phone. I'll be just busy. And I come walking, he goes, "Who the hell are you?" I mean, just like that. Very confrontational. I said, "Sir, my name is Chuck Epperson, and I'm a black belt from Chico with Huk Planas." He goes, "What? Huk Chico? Damn, Huk was my first teacher too. Come on in, man." And that was it. Just like that. It was instant. And I mean, we hit it off. We just started going at it, stories after stories. I go, "Oh, I see you got a couple of acoustic guitars." He goes, "Yeah." I go, "You play?" He goes, "Yeah." "You play?" I go, "Yeah." For the next 3.5 hours, just like me and Huk. Guitars in our hands, jamming. He's telling me all these crazy, wild stuff. And again, what a great storyteller. Not too many people that tell stories as good as Frank. What a fantastic storyteller. He's going, "Yeah, see that scar? That's when I was gassing up at this gas station, and this uh, a biker dude, and tried to, cut me with a knife. He got me a little bit, but then he disarmed the guy, beat the shit out of him, and took his knife from him. Just this story after just, Frank, But we started playing, he's really into the blues. So I said, "Have you ever tried this, Frank?" I played this minor chord that's a different hand position. It's a jazz way to play a minor chord, with only your top 3 fingers and everything else open. I hit that chord, he goes, "Oh my God, that's beautiful." I go, "Look how easy it is too, Frank." He goes, "Can you teach me that?" So I sat there for an hour and a half and taught him how to play blues with minor sevenths and ninths. And he fell in love with it. And he's another guy who has no ego. Till the day he died, he always credited me, man, because, "Man, I'm still doing those jazz chords you taught me too, man." He goes, "I still use those chords when I play blues now, man. It's opened up my whole new way of thinking about playing guitar." And Huck's really funny too, because guitar's not him and Frank. And he tried to tell Frank's like, "God damn it, Huck, screw that. I don't want to know that theory shit. It's too hard for me." He wanted to keep it real basic because, I mean, Huck is a school musician. He knows music. I mean, he really does. I mean, he was a professional musician when he met Parker. There's a picture of him in the Journey book, and he's on stage with the Jesters with his big, long black hair, mutton chops, with his, 50s music man Fender Stratocaster standing on stage next to Neil Diamond. Does he ever tell you all the stories, all the famous people he did that for?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's good. And to this day at our parties, Huck can still play those number 1 hits from the 60s, note for note, even the solos off the album. Note for note.
I've got video of Huk playing Hotel California on my guitar. I've got him playing Sweet Home Alabama. And the one thing wasn't plugged in, but the one thing I always keep saying to everyone, isn't it amazing how I have to yell at this guy to talk to him, but he can tell me my unplugged electric guitar is out of tune.
Yeah. That's Huck, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, what a character. Oh my God. No, Frank, okay, now after that, what happened was the next time I saw him wasn't that much longer. There was this famous Kenpo camp, the best one. It's way up in the Trinity Alps. It's beautiful, called Bar 717 in the middle of nowhere. A one-lane road for miles and miles with 1,000-foot drops. It's a cabin a guy built for kids in 1927. It's got 400 cabins. And Randy and Verlaine Bashaw brought us up there, and we were some of the instructors. Me and Scott Halsey and Huck and Frank and a couple other instructors would rotate in. But they started bringing me in, so I started doing seminars with Huck and Frank at that place. Then a few years later, we did that one for years. And then a guy in Klamath Falls, Oregon, John and Robin Cosilla, who were ranked underneath Frank, had a school up there. They started bringing me and Huck and Frank in to share seminars up there. On Friday night, Huck would teach us straight ahead Kenpo. Frank would teach us Kenpo Fusion, and I was teaching Filipino arts. And then we'd stay there, and then the next day they'd have their big annual tournament. Then we'd have a big potluck party and play music. And so that's how I really got to know Frank. And matter of fact, we became so close. 17 years ago, on my 50th birthday party, my wife did a silent fundraiser and raised a bunch of money to surprise me and fly Frank in from LA to Chico to come in on a Friday night sparring class and walk in while I'm teaching to teach the class, and then spend Saturday where I have, I told you about our annual seminars like we just did in April. After the seminars all day long at my house, right here in the front room and the pool in the backyard, the burn center of tiki lights, and play live music with world-class musicians. Well, that's exactly what we would do. And of course, we're going to do that for my party. And so I'm sitting there teaching class. I knew something was weird because why is my brother Bruce over here from Orland with his students? And why is Al here from Anderson and Scott from Reading with his students? That's not normal. And they were really good at hiding it. They said, oh man, we just, we thought for a change, we'd just come and jump in and, spar with you because we know you do excellent sparring classes and we mainly do tournament stuff and we know you don't and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, well, thanks. Great. All right, guys, party. This is awesome. Place is full. So I'm about 15 minutes into my boxing, doing all the stuff and discretions and the Kenpo techniques, all the stuff I blend. And all of a sudden everybody stops. And I look, and here comes my wife, Nanette, and Frank walking through the front door of the dojo. I'm like, oh, be damn. Everybody starts clapping, and Frank comes in, gives me a bigger hug. I'm like, you sneaky suckers. It was phenomenal. I have a bunch of pictures of that. And Frank was so funny because I'm traditional. After every single class, the students get the brooms and the dust and everything, and you clean the dojo floor. And there's pictures of Frank. My guys, and they're laughing because Frank's over there. You can see he's talking to him, telling him about, make sure you do that right because this is a traditional way. You dirty the mat, you clean it. But he's so funny. He's joking around with all these one-liners and making all my students crack up. I have pictures of all that stuff. The next night, he was in hog heaven. He sat in the corner of the front room with his drink. There's people everywhere. We got this killer. I hired a Sapphire Soul, this amazing Motown blues band. All guys are playing my band too. But if you're a great musician in this area, you play with all kinds of people because everybody wants you to play with them. And this one guy, Jonathan Arthur, he's this long-haired, gray hippie dude with a beard, LA session player. And he comes out, and he comes out with a cape and does the whole James Brown thing, breaks into it. And Frank is just like, oh my God, here's this in hog heaven, man. That was really wonderful. That was awesome. I mean, it's etched in my mind forever. He was just, and he loved my family. Oh yeah, There's pictures of him in a wheelchair. He showed up to Huck's World Gathering in Las Vegas. Those are some of the pictures. It shows me and my wife here and Frank's kissing my wife, Yeah. I mean, a lot of good times with Frank. I mean, I spent so many years sharing seminars with him and Huck. This was,
Do you have any funny stories you can tell us? Because we always like a funny story.
oh God. Oh man, so many of them. Jeez. Oh, before I do that, here's a special one. And this is one of my highlights in my martial arts career too, and which I never thought I'd ever achieve because I have never worked towards this. I just work. Is this guy named Dr. Jim Thomas for 3 years in a row? I kept getting something from him from L.A. saying that I've been nominated to be in the USA Martial Arts Hall of Fame, one of the oldest martial art Hall of Fames in the history of Hall of Fames. And I blew it off because I'm like, this has got to be bullshit. Nobody knows me. Who's gonna frickin' nominate? Come on, guys. No, I've been training long enough. I don't deserve it. Like just, but blew it off. And so finally, after turning it down the guy actually calls me on my phone at the dojo. You go, Epperson Brothers Kenpo Kali Dojo. Chuck speaking. How can I help you? He goes, this is Dr. Jim Thomas. I went, you mean the guy from the Hall of Fame? He goes, yeah. I go, hi, Doc. What can I do for you? How can I help you? He goes, I want to know why you keep turning me down. I went, I was caught on the spot, man. And, I'm honest. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I said, but dude, to be honest with you, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think it was real. I'm a nobody. Nobody knows me. He goes, I'm telling you, no people know about you. I go, who? He goes, people all over the world. I go, God, come on, Jim. He's like, name somebody. He starts naming off some names. What about, Frank Trejo and Huk Planas? I go, what? I go, well, tell me some people. I'm still not convinced, and I could tell I was pissing him off. I wasn't trying to. I just want to make sure I wasn't getting jacked around, because how people are. You can't trust a lot of people. He goes, how about Bill Superfoot Wallace and Vinny the Jet? And I went, okay. Okay. Are you serious? 2 of my fighting heroes are in the Hall of Fame, your Hall of Fame? He goes, yes. I went, okay. Can I call you right back? He goes, what? I go, I just want to make a quick phone call, and I'll call you right back. And he reluctantly said, you're going to call me back, right? I said, I promise. I hung up and I called Frank. Hey, bro, what's happening, man? Frank, Hey, Frank, he called me Chucky Baby. I go, train it. Chucky Baby. Called him Franco. Like Kojak or something. I don't know. There's nicknames, He goes, what's up, man? I go, man, I got an honest question. I got to ask you something, man. I'm freaking out. He goes, what's going on? I go, there's this guy down there in L.A. named Dr. Jim Thomas, and he supposedly said since the early 70s, he's had this USA Martial Arts Hall of Fame, and for 3 years he's been trying to get me to come. He finally called me because he's mad because I keep turning it down. And he goes, well, you shouldn't turn it down. I go, well, is it legit? He goes, yes, legit. I go, yeah, but Frank, I'm only a 7th degree. I've only been training for this long, and this and that and the other, and nobody knows me. Is this true? He goes, Chuck, a lot of people know about you. I go, how? He goes, how do you think, man? Me and Huck, I've been telling people about you for years. He goes, you're one of the best martial artists I've ever known, one of the best teachers. You need to do this. I went, it's because of Frank. I said, okay, but Frank, I don't know anybody in L.A. He goes, you'll stay with me. I went, okay. He goes, you need to do this. You need to do it now. You deserve this. I went, all right. So Frank is the reason why I finally accepted it. So I called Jim back. I said, okay, got all the information. Went down to L.A. Now that's a funny story. Matter of fact, that's funny. I could tell you a bunch, but this is hilarious. This is the true story. I'm a nobody. Frank is famous. He's huge, It was the month he was on Black Belt magazine, the front page. It was August 2007. Yeah. So we had such a great time, of course, playing guitar. His house is memorabilia of all this Kenpo stuff. He takes me to his famous Mexican restaurant, takes me to the place to get his favorite tequila. We're jamming and playing music. We go down. We both go down to get fit for our tuxedos because it's a tuxedo. It's a big wingding, right? I've never wore a tuxedo in my entire life.
Yeah, black tie, man.
Blast doing that. We were cracking up the tuxedo guy that does the alterations. We had the guy in stitches, man. And come back, and of course we party that night because the night before, and Frank's a tequila drinker, so here we are in this little old house he has. His kitchen is tiny. Of course, if you know how Frank is, once he gets to drinking, then the stories come out. And what's he want? There's films of me and him and pictures doing his sticky hands. And every time, you could see the black belts in our class laughing. Never fails. Every time me and Frank do sticky hands, it goes from sticky hands and goes right into a sparring match. Every time, man. So what happens at 1 o'clock in the morning after a bottle? Come on, man, let's do sticky. Was telling jokes, laughing, telling stories. So we start sticky hands, and all of a sudden, it's into sparring. I'm doing this bit. I'm doing crest axe kiss, and we're knocking stuff off the fridge and just going for it, and we finally laugh, hugging each other, laughing, just having a great time. That's the stuff me and Frank would do. Here's the funny part. We're going through LA, all this traffic. I don't know if you've ever seen his car. It's an old lowrider, rusty, convertible, and got bullet holes all in it. We are driving down the freeway all in blood and tuxedos. And everybody's like, they're actually filming us. I thought maybe we were like in a movie or something. Swear to God, man. And we're just sunglasses on like the Blues Brothers. Oh, I haven't thought about this in so long. Oh my God. So hilarious. I wish it was actually filmed. Anyway, we get to this place. It's a big, huge, fancy ballroom out by the airport somewhere in LA. I don't know that area. So we go up to this big, fancy place. I'm the guy getting, the Hall of Fame. We come walking up, and there's Mr. Jim Thomas, all these people registered coming in, big, fancy place with food and tables and a stage and microphone for everybody to do their thing. And this is a funny story. Is we get up there, and, "Oh, Chuck, nice to meet you, fine, thanks for being here, blah, blah, blah." And I'm doing that, and there's 20 people lined up. "Hey, Frank!" Oh, man. I mean, I'm a nobody. I'm the guy getting, this award, and they're lined up like 20, 30 people. Everyone knows, "Hey, Frank, how you doing? Oh, man, you inspired me, man, since the '70s, man. The way I fight is because of you, man, watching your style of fight." I mean, for 30 minutes, we couldn't even get in there. People stopping Frank, and plus he was just on Black Belt Magazine, the front page. So it's just kind of funny, that whole weekend was magical and just kind of surreal, hanging out with, in one of my opinion, one of the best humans. You ever meet Frank?
I did. On one of my pilgrimages, I reached out to him and, actually went out to his house, and that was when he was still healthy. So we spent the whole day together. We went out to Camp Treo in the back, and, it was good. It was a good day, you know.
He's a very sweet human being.
Really nice guy. Didn't have to give me the time of day, but I reached out to him. He said, "Hey, Peter, come on out." And, we went and spent the whole day together at his house, so it was good.
Just an excellent human being. Just one of the best people I've ever known. A very good man. Sweetheart. Very special man.
I'd wish I'd known about the podcast stuff back then, because some of the people that I've met back then, like, I wish I recorded all that back then.
Yeah. And that's one of my most special times with Frank, and literally one of the funniest things of me and him going down that freeway in our Tuxes in that car he had with bullet holes everywhere. Now, okay, now Chuck, this is funny. Check this out. We're heading back, and we're kind of running out of time to get me back to the airport the next day. We're going down the freeway. It's like this, boom. And we're talking, and we come on the subject of Benny the Jet. It's a true story. Check this out. This happens for a reason. And Frank looks over and he goes, "Hey." I look over, and who's doing 70 miles an hour down the freeway right next to us? Benny and his wife. We're talking about him. Goes running, "Hey, man, Benny, hey, Frank." Frank's like, "Hey, this is Huck's top black belt senior student, Chuck Epperson from Chico. He just got the Hall of Fame." Like, "Hey, Chuck, nice to meet you." And I mean, his wife. We're talking, flying down the freeway, and I'm talking to one of my heroes I've ever met. It's just freaking awesome, dude. I mean, I'm so glad we're doing this because I'm so I haven't thought about this stuff for a long time, Peter. Thanks.
That's great. It's good that you're sharing with us too, so the rest of the world can hear it as well.
Just, so lucky.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Epperson's Kenpo out in Chico. So is it, you've got a school, do you have an organization? Tell us a little bit about that.
Um, uh, I just have a dojo. I don't really have an organization. I have a lineage for sure. Matter of fact, if you actually, I have my wife post this again. There's a picture I took about 2 years ago when we first got to this beautiful new dojo we're in now. And because, of my training and zoning and Filipino arts and the triangles and, forms in Kenpo, open and closed triangles. And, our bodies are made up of all triangles. That's a big part of the Filipino arts. And, the door stops and all that stuff that we have. And I thought it'd be a great picture in front of the crest patch is I'm sitting in a chair like this and in a triangle. And behind me in rows, I have a lot of my active black belts are still with me. It's a wonderful picture. I should have my wife send that to you. It's like my legacy. And there was only 3 black belts not in that picture because they couldn't be there, but that's a fantastic picture. And the young guy standing directly behind me is my son, Kai Epperson.
Okay. Nice.
When I told you is my youngest black belt, he started when he was 3 and got his black belt when he was 14. And all my black belts on the board were like amazed at Kai. My brother Bruce is to the right, and my black belt Joe Sanchez is to my left. And some of those guys have been with me for 30, 35, 40, 45 years. They're still with me, Peter.
How many black belts do you have on your family tree?
I think I said this yesterday, but I'll say it again. In 47 years of teaching, I've promoted 31 people to black belt. And I think on that picture, there's like 16 or 17 of us. Those were active ones. And I thought, you know what? I need to think about this since I am basically creating my own lineage. I got down on a piece of paper and I really had to think. And actually, I think my wife had to remind me, don't forget so-and-so. I'm like, oh God.
It's funny how many people do not record
Yeah, I
that
wrote it down
info. Yeah.
on just a lined piece of paper, like binder paper. I wrote all the names, and then I was able to remember all of them, and it was 31. Yeah, 31 and 47 years.
Let's talk about how do people join if they're interested in doing Kenpo Kali? How do they join?
Yes, I have a link. I can have my wife send it to you. There's a link that goes to an app that I use for Chuck Epperson's Kenpo Kali called Teachable.
Yep.
And it's what I started with. I did it 5 years ago, and I have people trying to attempt to test, but it's 30 structured lessons on all the categories. And the first lesson is me basically introducing myself to the world of who I am, pay respect to all my instructors, and then I start talking about Kenpo Kali and about how, what I've trained in and my teachers in that, and that most Filipino arts have 12 angles. I've chosen in Kenpo Kali to do an art that even Huck really likes called Sinclatero. My system only has 5 angles. And the reason why I do that. And then I start going through my 5 angles with body mechanics, with the open triangle, which is the female zoning, and the closed triangle, which is the male. And then the basic 3-foot maneuvers in Kenpo, step throughs, drag steps, and step drags, just doing the angles of attack. My second lesson is the 9 strikes. The third lesson is 6 combinations of those technique put into combinations for attacking. Also, the first lesson, I go through the 5 angles, and I teach you the 5 left-handed techniques with the defenses with master key striking patterns with strips and disarms and locks and throws. That's the first lesson. Second lesson is the strikes. Third lesson is the combos. Fourth lesson in structure is single stick drills. The fifth lesson is what's called open chamber, 4 count and 6 counts, and finishes with a closed chamber 4 count. Just beginning level stuff. That's the first 5 lessons. And in February, I had 12 of my people test for what I call level 1. Because I gave up about 2 years ago, realizing that even though it's just a teardrop of stuff, I'm never going to get anybody to test for phase 1, which is all 30 of those lessons, all the way up to the last category, which is the most sophisticated, which is your long and short, your stick and knife training, which is my favorite part, always has been. When I met Anthony Kleeman, Doce Pares, that's what I told him. So here's a story for you. Out of every black belt he has all over the world, because he knows me since the first day I met him, I told him I love it all, but my favorite category, because it's most challenging and deadly, is long and short training, the stick and knife stuff. And so for my 3rd degree black belt, which is a long time ago, he said, here's your assignment for 3rd black. I want you to, from the base 1, I want you to structure a completely structured stick and knife system. And that's what you'll do for your 3rd black. And he is no other student in the world. I said, fine, great. It took me 2 years. And the only reason I was able to do it in 2 years, because one of my black belts, Ron Thompson, every Sunday after church, come to my house, his iPad, this guy is like a frickin' Jedi. Everything I'd say, okay? I'm just like, whoa. And so after about, 3 weekends, he goes, did you plan this? I go, plan what? I goes, that's 12 phases. I go, what? Because Doce Pares means 12 pairs. We go a little farther. He goes, did you plan this too? I go, what's that? He goes, it goes from A to Z. And I'm just putting stuff together off the top of my head, and he's doing that. So it took me 2 years, and I presented it to him. He actually showed up at Reading at Post Office Saloon, where a gig I played out with my band for 12 years, the night before the seminar. And he came down and sat down at a table with my wife and a bunch of people. I said, here you go. Boom. How about that thick? I go, there you go. He goes, oh. So I do the first set. I come over. I sit down. He goes, Chuck, this is excellent. Nice job. I mean, I put everything in there. Everything. So the next day, you know what my test was? Back then, I don't know what he's doing now, but back then, no matter what you did, if you were a Doce Pares guy, you did 6-hour seminars. You did 3 hours, hour lunch break, come back, do 3 more hours. I taught the entire day. I spent 6 hours. I was 50 people on the floor, and I taught my stick and knife system. That was my test. The last 45 minutes, he filmed me in my black belt. Rod Thompson attacked me spontaneous, and I did it all spontaneous, and then added other stuff off the top of my head, Kenpo stuff too. But that was my assignment from Anthony.
Let's talk about how do people join. So you've got a website. It is actually Kenpo-Kali.teachable.com for people.
Oh, you found it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like this. It's weird, Peter, because I don't really push stuff. I have people PayPal me in my bank every month, pay $49.99 for all 30 of those structured lessons. I don't even know who they are.
Okay.
They just want my stuff and they trade it every month. I'm like, okay, great. But then I do have most of the people that train me directly are my Kenpo guys. And they really, some of them do that, but most of them don't, because they can do it right here with me and Chico. Hands-on, like this morning. After I did my 2-3 privates, then the guy showed up for my Kenpo Kali class, and also I do Kenpo Kali every day in privates too. Yeah, I mainly teach Kenpo Karate all day long, but to be honest with you, brother, you know how I sign up people still? I don't advertise. It's word of mouth. It's your reputation. And I've been around longer than most people in Chico. And I have a good reputation because, for one, that's something you can't be lazy on. You still have to keep earning that every day, too.
Yeah, great.
For reputation.
You as good as your last lesson.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all word of mouth, and in my opinion, that is the best advertisement because it's like a testimonial. It's powerful. So that's how people sign up, or it might be maybe the location because that's hardly ever it. Or they found your number in the yellow pages. No, I haven't had yellow pages for 30 years. That doesn't work either.
Let's I know you got your own patch. Let's talk a little bit about your patch. And
Oh yeah, my Kenpo Kali patch. I don't know if you can.
I can see it on your shirt. It's on your shirt. Oh, yeah, this is it. Yeah, no, this is it.
That's a bigger bird. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, we can see it. Yep.
Yeah, and everything on there has history and meaning. You know how Parker and Huk's patch has a K?
Yep.
Well, I have an E, and there's 15 things that E represent. Of course, I've got Huk's necklace in the way. I move it. This is Huk's necklace.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that's it. There she is. Yep. Now you can see all the opening and closed triangles. You see the main colors, which is, the golden standard and the red. You can see the gun sight. You can see the weapons are put on the 45s and 90s with all open end triangles. You notice there's 4 Ks in the corner. That stands for the 4 martial arts that I do with a K. You can see the C cups and all the zones.
Well, what are the 4 martial arts for everyone?
Yeah. Kenpo, Kali, karate, kalat, kickboxing. Those are all martial arts I do. This start with a K. But there's 3 pages. Everything on there has meaning and history. The C cups are those little indentations, and we have those in Kenpo. That's a form of checking. It's the best way to check, especially with a knife, because they can't escape over the top or the bottom or towards you. They can only escape towards themselves. That's why you check that way. So a lot of our techniques where you check like this, Huk teaches it this way. This is when I'm like this, you can break out and get into my center line. Here, you cannot get in. That's why Filipino arts do C-cup checks. It's also in Kenpo, like our arm breaks. That's why you have this. The fitting principle, margin for error. You're not going to miss. Control. You're going to nail that break. You're not going to miss. I was originally taught by Dale Everyone to do a lot of them with your heel pump, but then you miss. So Huk said, no, you need to use this. But of course, explain why. And it's common sense and logic. You're absolutely right. Follow the rules and principles. You need margin for error. Why? In combat, nothing's perfect. You're going to make mistakes. And when you make a mistake, you need some margin for error so you don't die.
Okay. And then you've got the weapons in there as well.
Yes. You got the one at the top is machete. I like machete because one of the weapons in Doce Pares Eskrima is the machete. Matter of fact, one of my favorite forms was a machete form. Yeah, so you got you have the stick, you have the dagger. The sword is one of my favorite swords. It's the Chris, the wavy blade. Yeah.
And then you have the knife underneath.
Yes.
And then you have the universal, but it's turned on a diagonal board. So it's the 18 hand direction.
Yeah, and also I'm like Huk. The reason why, because if you look at Parker's patch, the 90s are the long lines, the 45s are the short lines. Well, we do the long lines on the 45s because that represents the zoning of Filipino arts.
Okay.
Now we're using the corners.
There's no purple in it.
See the opening triangle at the top? That's what's called female. And female and male zoning is in Kenpo too. It's in your forms.
Yeah, correct. I was saying there's no purple in it though, like your jacket.
Now, well, people give me a bad time all the time, because when I play any kind of music, with my band, I'm all black. They say, "Oh, you're Johnny Cash." And I go, "Well," but people ask me all the time. I go, "Well, be honest with you, the reason why is because black and blue are my favorite colors, literally." And when I wear it, I'm going to support one of my musician friends tonight who's doing an album release. I mean, because I'm always in a black baggy bear pajamas. I mean, like I said, I'm a poor guy. I don't need much. I've been living in a black baggy pair of pajamas for how many decades? I mean, obviously, what do I need? Not much. Pretty simple, you know. But I go out, I'm in black shoes, black pants, black dress shirt. I'm black. But I also say you do remember another reason why black and blue are my favorite colors.
Because they don't show blood. They don't show blood.
And I know old school Kenpo, those are school colors.
Yep.
Black and blue are Kenpo school colors. In other words, if you're not bruised, you're not doing Kenpo. Like Huck says, in the old days, Kenpo used to have a really bad reputation for a really good reason. I love stuff. I'm like, yeah, Huck. All right, buddy. Accuracy and power, right? But what does Huck teach? Not in that order. In that order of importance, in the order of the alphabet. See?
Speed is good. Accuracy is final.
Yeah, it's like, because it's a famous saying. It's a school motto with speed, accuracy, and power. But if you train with Huck, he says, but not in that order. That's something that you see where Kenpo people ruin Kenpo. Trying to go too fast. Your timing's off, body mechanics, no power principles, missing your stances, missing targets. So he teaches in the order of importance, the alphabet. A first, accuracy. Power second. Speed third. Enough speed to make sure the first two happen. As if you're not hitting your target pinpoint, it's worthless. You just wasted all your time, effort, and energy. If you don't have enough power to put somebody's butt on the ground, well, that's worthless too. And that's the beauty of Huck's teaching, in which I totally agree with. Absolutely.
In your lineage, if you were not around anymore, what advice would you have to all the people in your lineage? What would you say to them if they listen to this in a few years, 10 years time, you're not here anymore? What advice would you give to them?
Well, the first thing I'd tell them is make sure that you support my brother Bruce. Because he's always been my most dedicated, most serious student, my best student, my highest ranking student, the best teacher I've ever produced. He is an excellent teacher and an excellent practitioner, an excellent fighter. I mean, in my opinion, my brother Bruce is one of the best in the world. And that's not just because he's my brother, it's because he is. And anybody who knows him would tell you the same thing. Every one of my black belts would tell you that. And I have some very excellent black belts. But Bruce, well, he started with me in 79, the same year Huck took me underneath his wing. That's how long my brother Bruce has been with me. And he's special. And that'd be the first thing. If you're believing my teachings and from Huck, if I'm gone, then you definitely should train with my brother Bruce, because he's the best. He's the best I got. I'm proud of that.
And do you have any memorable moments in your journey with Huck that you could just share with us? And have you met any famous people in your journey training?
I've met a lot of really popular, famous people. Well, right off the top, Ed Parker. I did every single seminar he ever did every year since the 70s in Northern California. He usually did like 3 or 4. And I told you, I had a nice relationship with him. He knew my whole family. I got to test in front of him 5 times, which is some of the highlights of my career, being able to know him personally. He liked my music, even took my music, because he found out I was a musician too, and him and Huck are musicians. Of course, Huck and Frank, but I've met them all. I met a lot. The people, because I'm up here in Northern California, the people that are really famous in Kenpo that I know because they're close to where I am would be like Bob Lyles, Diane Tanaka, John Sepulveda, Vinton Coolidge, not a lot of people, but those are some pretty popular, famous people. Um, who else have I met that's famous? Oh, I met Graham Lilly because like over 20 something years ago, he brought Huck in once. That's a great story. Oh my God. Yeah, we came to his dojo, and here we are, me and my brother Bruce and Marty Zananovich is there, and some of my hardcore black belts, and we're doing we're doing techniques in a seminar, but you know the way we are, we just line up into a technique line and start banging, and it's really funny too. We're out there just slamming, and after a little while, Graham just goes, "Man, dude, you guys are too hardcore. I can't do this." He stepped out because, I mean, dude, we're just ripping it, man, having a great time. But Graham was I've only met him that one time. That was a long time ago. Never seen him, met him since. He was very hospitable, very nice man, and had a potluck party at his house afterwards, him and his wife. If I remember right, he's married to an Asian lady, I think. Yeah.
Uh, JD.
Yeah, I had a great time at his house, a great dinner. He had a pool table. So we had a good socialization. There's lots of fun stories and, having some drinks and playing pool and stories and jokes and just, yeah, we had a great time with Graham. It was really nice. I liked him. I thought he was a very nice man. But I see, there you go. I forgot about that too. That might have been like 24 years ago. It was a long time ago. Years ago. Yeah.
Uh,
So I got to meet him too, and I thought he was really nice. And um, as far as famous people, well known, for me, um, that's probably about it from what I know about famous people. Oh no, I met Jeff Speakman 20 something years ago. He had a school over in Eureka, a guy named Dan Pribble, and he came all the way over there from the coast, which is about a 4-hour drive, to a Huk Planas seminar, and it was huge. And every Friday night, I would have a guest instructor teach the Friday night adult sparring class. That year, it was Scott Halsey. I don't know if you've ever met Scott Halsey, but he's an excellent, excellent black belt up there in Reading about an hour and 15 minutes from now. He's like a 12-time world champion, very successful school in Reading. And he was teaching the class, and Dan came over and brought like 15 of his students. And he loved the sparring night, and he's like, man, he was just really impressed with the dojo and my students and the teaching. And he said, "Man, I want to personally invite you next month to come to my dojo. We're bringing in Jeff Speakman. He's my teacher. I want you to come in and be on the test Friday night and come to the seminar Saturday." And so that's when I met Jeff. I forgot about that because he is really famous now. Well, he was famous then too because it was after the movie. I think it was like 2001. It was almost 25 years ago. Yeah. So he was already famous because of the movie and stuff. But, some of the stuff we talked about, that same kind of thing kind of happened.
How do you continue to stay motivated and progress in your journey?
Oh man, my passion, dude, my A-type personality, always wanting to. I always push hard, Peter. And I do it to my students too. I tell people I can't expect anybody to be as obsessed and as passionate and willing to work every day hard that I am. I try to get people to do that, and I do have, like, my brother Bruce and some of my guys are like that. But I don't have a problem at all being motivated, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you one thing that does motivate me is my teacher. Quality, the golden standard. That's what motivates me.
Yep.
Like the very, very emotional, hard trip we made to Alaska to spread Huck's ashes, and the special guys that made that tough journey up there to do that. And one of them was Max Bushkoff, Andres, all the way from Chile. My two black belts, Joe and Jason. I got told those guys, all this is gonna do to me is motivate me to work harder and do the work and keep earning it. That's all losing Huck did to me. That just motivated me even more.
Okay. So what advice would you have for someone wanting to start out the martial arts?
Well, I always tell people this for sure. For sure, Don't do it unless you're seriously interested. Don't waste your time, your money. Don't waste the instructor's time. Don't do that to the person. If they're willing to give, make sure you're seriously interested, and be smart. Be a smart consumer. Don't just go sign up at the first place you come to. Do some research, because since I've been in this has happened a lot to people. You pick the wrong person, the wrong place, and you have a terrible experience and will never, ever want to do martial arts again. When you could have waited, researched, found the right person, a teacher who teaches the right way for the right reason and can change your life. Like, never be the same person again. That's the kind of teacher you need to seek out. Research, make sure he's even a legitimate certified black belt underneath a certified teacher. Be smart about it. If you're going to step into that door, that's the hardest thing about martial arts. You got to show up. You got to step through the door. Be brave enough, confront your anxieties and fears and insecurities and obstacles, because we all humans, we have that. And let this amazing vehicle help you deal with that stuff. Remember talking to you about a real karate dojo depicts life itself? That's the place you want to be. And that will change your life. You'll never be the same.
Yeah, correct. So if you had to impart some wisdom and inspirational quotes for some of our listeners, or have a mantra, what would that be?
There's a lot of good ones. Don't ever shortcut yourself. Believe in yourself. Love and respect yourself. Because if you can do that, you can give it to other people. It has to start from you first. Live your life fully.
Yep.
Live every day like it's your last. Because even if you live to be 100 years old, it's only a teardrop of time. I say run it till the wheels fall off. Enjoy life. Find your happiness. Find your balance. Find your joy. Then you can really enjoy life the way you're supposed to. You can live life. It's here to live. It's here to live and learn and love and, discover the beauty of life. It's a short thing.
Okay. And are there any books that you can recommend, or books that you've been featured in?
No, I've never been featured in magazines or books. I'll tell you what, a book that I've been turning on to martial artists, I was turned on to one of my students turned me on to this. It's called The Gift of Fear.
Yeah. Gavin DeVaca.
I'm telling you, that book re-inspired me. Everybody should read this book, especially if you're a martial arts instructor. It is some of the most powerful stuff. That's a book I have recommended to people. And also, the great martial art books, of course. But as far about life, you know, protecting yourself by just being smart and listening, paying attention to fear. I think I have all his books. I just think they're some of the best books ever written by anybody. I think Gavin DeBecker is an amazing human being. What guy has done and what he's still doing for our world right now, he should be praised. I mean, I would love to meet that guy someday. I mean, I think he's an amazing human being. If you read his books, you know what his life was like as a child. I can relate to a lot of things because I didn't have a wonderful childhood, to be honest with you, Peter. That's where a lot of my anger came from. That's why I, didn't get to graduate from junior high and high school, like I told you yesterday, from fighting, breaking people's jaws and putting people in the hospital and smashing their instruments and punching holes through middle. I had that Cherokee Indian fuse. I would do what my dad taught me. Chuck, don't pick fights, finish them. I just didn't know when to stop. And that's what I mean about Kenpo saved my life. It gave me that balance. It gave me, that self-control that I needed. And that saved my life. I didn't Kenpo to learn how to fight. That's not why I chose to do Kenpo instead of being a professional athlete or musician. I dropped all those dreams because of what Kenpo did for me.
What is your heritage nationality? You're saying Cherokee Indian?
Well, I'm a mutt like everybody else. I guess we got Dutch and German and, you know, this and that and the other, and Irish, black-haired Irish, but I got 2 or 3 Indians in me. If you saw a picture of my dad, he was so dark when he was growing up, they thought he was either a black man or a Mexican. He's very dark, like my grandma Sarah. That's from the Cherokee Indian and Swanee Indian. And I think I have Choctaw or something from my mother's side too. But I'm a mutt like most people. I'm a mix of a bunch of stuff, but I do have some strong Indian in me for sure. Definitely.
Okay. And for people interested in reaching out, training with you guys, now's the time for your shameless plug, location, country, email, website. What's the best way to reach you guys?
It's Epperson Brothers Kenpo Karate Dojo here in Chico, California. Address is 810 Broadway Street, Chico, California, zips 95926. Phone number's the same phone I've had for 40 years, the dojo phone. Area code 530-895-8257. Basically, our email is the one Nanette gave you, which is, it spells McCartney Nanette at Comcast.net, which is that McCartneynanette at Comcast.net. And of course, we have websites, Epperson Brothers Kenpo Karate Dojo, check Epperson's Kenpo Kali. I think the way they set it up, you can switch back and forth to my music too. If you're checking out my music, it can hit a button and go over to my martial arts, or if you're on my martial arts, you can click a button and go over to my music.
So have you got a website for your music as well?
Yeah, Chuck Epperson Jr. Band, yeah.
Okay, so it's called the Chuck Epperson Jr. Band.
Yes. Or Chuck Epperson Band, is probably both.
Have a YouTube channel as well?
Yeah, my music, yeah, I'm on YouTube and Spotify and, all that stuff, yeah. I'm all over the place. Oh, here's a highlight in music that that I'm very lucky to do. In August 2009, I was hired to open up for the famous Bruce Hornsby at the Cascade Theater Concert Hall in Reading. That was amazing. That's on YouTube. That's on YouTube. Yeah, it was supposed to be my band. You have to go through, and the guy tried to hire me to open up for the Neville Brothers, but they don't have an opening now. Tried to get me to open up for Kenny Loggins. He had already hired one of his old musician friends to open up, so I'm like, gosh darn it. He goes, all right, Joe. Third time's a charm. He goes, guess what? I got Bruce Hornsby. I go, really? Awesome. He goes, okay. So about 2 weeks before that, he goes, hey, Chuck, this is Jeff. I go, what's up? He goes, I got good news and bad news. I'm like, oh, no. Not again. I already struck out on Neville Brothers and Kenny Loggins. He goes, I go, all right, well, at least give me the good news first. Jesus, what could that be? He goes, you have to open up solo. I went, what? Not my band? How come? Because my band was really excited. I mean, that's a big deal, right?
Yep.
They're a huge, famous guy. I mean, just unreal. And he goes, well, I don't know. They won't tell me, but I think it might be because he's only playing solo too. He's not bringing his band. I said, oh, okay. And that was the bad news. You still get to open. The bad news is you got to do it solo. Your band don't get to play. He goes, what do you want to do? I go, what do you mean what I want to do? I still want to open up. I'm bummed out, but I'm not passing up this once in a lifetime opportunity, So that was an amazing experience. If you look on YouTube, you can see the whole thing. And I'm on this beautiful, unbelievable stage. I've got my black and white Fender Strat and my Ovation acoustic, and I go back and forth. They gave me a half an hour open up, and I think I got through like 7 of my originals. It's a really neat experience. I have excellent reception. I mean, it was sold out, probably, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 people in there. And that was an amazing experience. And Bruce was very genuine. He was down to earth, very nice to me, and actually paid me nice compliments too. And that's when we took the break. It was a 15-minute break, and they're getting him ready to come up on stage. And me and my wife are trying. It's weird. It's just like you walk up. You're down here, the stage here, and the walkway goes up to a second level. Then you got to go upstairs to the bar. I wanted to go up there and get a drink. celebrate a little bit. It took me the whole 50 minutes because people kept talking, stopping me and my wife and wanting to get autographs and talking to me about how long you've been opening up for Bruce. You're on tour with him? I'm like, no. No, people thought I was his opening act on his tour. That was kind of cool. But yeah, that was, as far as music, that is definitely a highlight of my music career for sure. And it's it though. Opened up for anybody famous ever. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, I think that's gets us to the end of our questions.
I'm your host, Peter Tas, and you've tuned in to the Mind Sensei Podcast from Down Under. We want to take a moment to thank all our listeners for tuning in to the Mind Sensei Podcast. We appreciate your support and hope our show has been both informative and entertaining for you. If you haven't already done so, we would like to invite you to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. Finally, we'd like to thank our guests for sharing their knowledge and experience with us. Without their generosity, this podcast would not be possible. Thank you again for listening to the Mind Sensei Podcast Down Under. We hope that you continue to join us on this journey through the world of martial arts.